Nick Nolde is joining us this morning. Hi, Nick. How you doing?
Good. Good morning, Craig. Good morning, audience. How you doing?
Nick, I don't think they're going to be able to answer you. This is radio.
How are you doing, though, Craig?
I'm all right. It's a holiday weekend. We're looking for a short week, so that's always a good thing. That's for sure.
You're in the studio instead of in the woods?
Well, this morning, I don't get to hunt the mornings very often. Get up bright and early, come in and bag the radio station. That's what you got to do, right? I see you got your cup of coffee ready to go.
Yes.
By Zoom. Who do you have on with us today?
Trevor Ohlsen from Iron Mountain. Talented musician.
Hey, Trevor, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good, man.
This has got to be a tough time during COVID-19 to be a musician.
It's a very weird time because essentially the music industry shut down for most everyone. And so, I always try to look on the bright side of things, and it at least it gave me a lot of time to record, make an album, and no live shows. But like I said, I've been making an album and I started a podcast. So I've been able to do some creative things outside of live performance.
The last time we talked with you, you were just starting to do some performing around the Midwest. What was happening before the pandemic hit?
Well, I toured last October all throughout the South. I did shows in Nashville and Georgia and Florida, South Carolina. And then I came home and was just kind of getting prepared for the next run out and, what was going to happen. Me and my manager at the time were discussing options. And then it's like February rolled around and all this news and conversations started to pick up on the coronavirus. And then March happened and things shut down. It was kind of like right away, 2020 seems like we're just taking the year off as far as entertaining.
Are you bored?
No, I've been busier than I've ever been. And that's intentional just because I knew that I have to live a really routinized life and a really structured routine each day. And so it's like I fill my days up with things. Otherwise, I'll go crazy.
I think we're all going crazy. That's for sure. Nick's been teaching from school. Nick's been teaching from home, right, Nick?
Teaching from home, which has been interesting, yes.
Yeah, that's got to be very interesting. And of course, Nick found out from last week's interview that he has time now to practice, but he's not quite so sure about that.
Practice.
Let's practice, huh?
Hey, Trev, I got to ask you, every musician we have on here, I kind of ask the same question about songwriting. Do you have a certain process? Do you try to come up with lyrics and then music, or vice versa, or just see what happens? Because when you were playing shows in Delta County a couple summers ago, and hanging out with Kevin and me talking with Kevin, you are a songwriting machine.
Yeah.
I mean, you just rattle them off left and right, one after another.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Songwriting is really interesting, and creativity in general, just because for me, it feels like, and I think most creative people would agree, it feels like you're not necessarily writing the song, for example, songwriting, but it feels almost like you're discovering it, like it already exists in its entirety somewhere else, and you're like the medium that kind of brings it through. But with regards to like, it's like each song is kind of different. I every day have little ideas that come to mind, whether it just be a line or a melody or a theme, or like it could be anything. And usually it's a line and I go, oh, that could be a lyric. And then it might have a melody with it. Or if it doesn't, I'll just hum something, whatever comes to mind, no judgment to it. And I'll just start messing around with chords. And then that's just kind of how it feels, man. It's like before you know it, the song is writing itself. And then, then you have this thing, and it's really, really an interesting experience writing songs. So each song is a little different. And, but yeah, man, that's sort of my process.
When do you know you're done?
Craig, that's the best answer we've gotten so far. That's really cool.
Is that right? When do you know you're done?
Well, that's the thing, man. It's kind of difficult. Like I wrote this one song. So I said I was working on this album, and I wrote this one song called Boyfriend Goodbye. And I loved the verse I had for it. I loved the theme, the whole idea, but I hated the chorus. I was like, this is a terrible chorus. And I came back to it. I just, without judgment, I came back to it a few months later, completely changed the chorus. I added an entire second verse. I changed the whole structure of it. And then it became this whole new thing. So some songs you just know they're done because you're happy with them and you just love how it feels and you really love everything about it. But then other songs, there might be things that you want to change. It's easier to know when songs are done with regards to writing compared to when you're recording them, because man, you can just record, you can throw in so many different things, so many different instruments, so many different sounds, and you can mix and match. You can just do a million things all day for weeks and weeks. So that's a little more difficult to know when you're finished, but the important thing is to just do your best with it, and then hopefully get it to a point where you are happy with it, and then you just have to let it go and do its thing.
Those little things can certainly make a big difference in the song too. That's the problem.
Yeah, you can't rush it. You just got to take your time with it, and that's kind of what I've been doing with this album. It's been 6, 7, 8 months in the making. So the longest.
You have a whole album you've been working on.
Yeah, man. I told you I've been busy. If I'm not playing live shows, I was like, I got to do something. So I've got an album that's very, very near completion.
Is this one of those songs?
No,
we're gonna play today?
This was a single. The single that you're gonna play is called "Did I Forget," and it's a singer-songwriter feel. That was just kind of a single that I've been releasing singles in succession over the last few months, and but it's a song that I do really, really love.
Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Trev, another question for you. When you're not writing or recording, what kind of music do you listen to? You strike me as a Metallica, Guns N' Roses type of guy.
Do I?
Yeah.
Man, it varies a lot. I listen to a lot of like modern pop music, but I also listen to a lot of old stuff. I've been really into Tom Cochrane the last few months.
Okay.
Yeah, so it could be rock, it could be pop, it could be rap. It really is all over the place, as far as like there's no set genre that I'll specifically.
Yeah.
I'll get obsessed with a certain sound for a while, and then I'll just like I listened to John Mayer once, no exaggeration, for like a year straight, and I listened to no one else. because I got obsessed with him, and he was one of the first guys that really kind of inspired me to enter into the music industry.
Yeah.
So
would you say your lane is modern pop more than anything else?
Yeah, I would say that it's been kind of singer-songwriter pop, easy listening pop, but this album is more kind of like top 40 pop, but not like, I don't know. It's good. Like it still feels like me. And it feels true to myself. So
cool.
Tell us about this song.
Well, this was a song that I wrote, man, where I knew it was done when I wrote it. I thought it was really, really beautiful, which doesn't necessarily happen a lot when you write. Lots of times you write and you're like, this is not good. And this song, I wrote it, and it just felt really good. And it's a love song about, well, when people hear the lyrics, they'll be able to tell exactly what it's about.
Well, let's do that. Here is Trevor Ohlsen. Did I Forget on WDBC.
Did I forget to tell you I love you? I'll admit that it may have slipped my mind, but oh babe, I love you the same every day. That'll never change. Did I forget? Did I forget to hold you close? I'll admit that it slipped my mind, but oh babe, you know that doesn't change. I'm the same kid, mad in love. Did I forget how every night before we close our eyes, we kiss like it's our last time? You fill me up and refresh my soul, and ease my pain and struggle. It's just what you do to me. my missing piece that makes me whole. So for the rest of my days, I promise not to say that I forget. How every night before we close our eyes, we kiss like it's our last time. You fill me up and refresh my soul. Ease my pain and struggle. It's just what you do to me. My missing piece that makes me whole. So for the rest of my days, every breath I take, I promise not to say that I forget.
That's Trevor Ohlsen from Iron Mountain. Did I Forget? He's been joining us from Iron Mountain. What a great song, Trevor.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I just
Yeah,
want
that is smooth. That is smooth. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to know who was the poor girl that you forgot to say I love you to.
Oh, you don't want to know the story, man. No.
I don't. Come on.
No,
It's
no,
just between you and me.
It's funny that that's an example of that song. It was about no one in particular. It's really kind of silly. Like most songs I write from personal experience that are about specific people. Like the album that I'm working about, it talks about a handful of different people that I've had that tell real life stories. But that was just an example. That was like an image in my mind where I was like, I just want to tell a story, and that was just sort of a story that formed in my head. So that wasn't about any lucky lady or unfortunate lady, whatever you want to call it.
Just out of your imagination. Huh?
Yeah.
There you go. Tell us about the podcast. Where can people have access to it? What's it about?
Yeah, so the podcast is called The Trevor Ohlsen Show. It airs every Wednesday on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Music, all over the place for free. It's a fun twice weekly comedy podcast. It's silly. I go crazy into a microphone for an hour having a good time. And then every Saturday, it airs exclusively on Patreon. And Patreon is a membership-only platform. Picture it like a Netflix, but for content creators, where you sign up for someone's content and then you gain access to it. So I do an exclusive episode on there every Saturday. I just recorded one right before this interview. And yeah, so every Wednesday, free, available all over the place. Just type in my name on YouTube. It's called The Trevor Ohlsen Show. And everyone's loving it too on Patreon. And you can get all sorts of exclusive things on there as well.
Who are you talking with?
Just me being
Just you?
Oh yeah, man.
For a whole hour?
Oh yeah, and it's crazy. Like for me, it flies by. My mother thinks I'm a crazy person because I'm downstairs yelling into the microphone. She's like, "You need to get a real job and move out." And I'm like, "Listen, Mom, I'm trying to build something here."
Yeah, it's tough during a pandemic. This is a real job, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. So it's me, typically just me, but I do have guests on every now and again, guests that I'm very interested in having, and it's just an open dialogue and conversation. I like to say that the conversational spectrum is wide open, and we go wherever it takes us. So,
Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Trevor, not that you need it because you're going down a pretty good path right now, but you ever give a thought to shows on TV like The Voice or anything like that?
Man, I've thought a lot about that, and I had actually an opportunity to go on The Voice. A scouting person reached out to me because they saw my Instagram posts, and I gave it some serious thought. But I don't know why, but it just doesn't. The idea of it doesn't necessarily resonate with me, and maybe it's just because all these musicians that I admire have never been on it as well. Like I appreciate the aspect that you could get
Right. Okay.
a large audience, but at the moment, I think I'm just gonna keep working on this album and just keep doing the podcast and keep growing it that way.
I wonder if
Cool.
maybe being on The
Cool.
Voice isn't real.
Yeah, well, there's something very produced about it, I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
especially now, it's like all these fake audience noises because it's all digital. It's like nothing. It's like it's not real. People want
Right.
real. That's one reason why podcasts and radio is so popular. It's like we can say whatever we want. It's unedited for the most part. It's not this big overly produced spectacle that everyone's amazed at.
When is your album going to be done?
Well, it's very, very close to done. It's a long process, but the first single is going to be released early 2021. And, but then just to kind of start to promote it and get the word out on it. And,
So we have to wait till then before we can talk with you about it?
well, we can talk about it as much as you want, man, but,
I meant play the songs.
oh yeah, I'll have to, well, yes, you have to be patient, Craig. But yeah, as soon as that single comes out, I'd love to come back on and talk with you guys. And but yeah, early 2021, and I really can't wait for it. It's a fun album, and I can't wait for everyone to hear it and to be done with it because I've been working on it for about like 8 months.
That's a good tease. So we'll just have to wait and we'll find out more what Trevor Ohlsen's been doing over in Iron Mountain. Trevor, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey,
Nick?
Craig. Hey, Craig.
Appreciate it, man.
Craig, one last thing, and I think I've told Trevor this before, but whenever he comes on the radio and my kids are in the car, they automatically, I said that backwards. Whenever Ed Sheeran comes on the radio and my kids are in the car, they're like, hey, that's Mr. Trevor.
See, he's
funny.
famous in Escanaba. Trevor, I do have a couple of your songs that you've given me into my playlist in the mornings. So I'm adding this one to that as well.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Always enjoy talking with you, Trevor. Nick, you have yourself a great holiday.
You guys too. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Great to see you, man.
You too.
Yeah.